The Eastern Empire is on the rise as the Western globalists once again mess up their geopolitical strategy as China, Iran, and Saudi Arabia prepare for expansion. Thank you, State Department and Washington. Thank you so much, American government, for all the failed policies of the 20th century and even 21st century. Now what do we have? Yes, China have brokered a deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about why this is actually happening and whose fault it is and what could actually happen, because it could actually escalate this global conflict that is currently cold, but it could get warm if we don't do anything about it. And by doing anything about it, I don't mean go inside and liberate these countries. It doesn't work that way anymore. So Saudi and Iran, who've been essentially enemies, and the West and the Western powers have been using it to say, okay, in that case, we're going to be friends with Saudi Arabia. So you can give us your briefcase and suitcase of cash to our Prince Charles at the time and many other people. We'll give you peerages. You can be friends with you. You've got oil. Just because we want to oppose Iran, your rival, enemy of an enemy is a friend. Who did not see this coming? Well, what were they not thinking? I said this in 2020 when I was talking about this issue and the Iranian uprising, which is still going on. Iran are getting desperate. The Iranian regime are getting desperate. So they need to do something about their survival instincts. Saudi Arabia, while they hate the Iranian regime, just like the rest of the Western globalists at the time, they prefer to keep the Iranian regime in place because they prefer to have a weak enemy in Iran rather than an independent, free, democratic, and strong Iran that could be a partner or ally, but they don't trust it. So Saudi Arabia, while they don't like the current Iranian regime, they are also still more skeptical about what could come next if this revolution actually happens, which it will happen. It's just a matter of timing. So they've decided to say, fine, we'll make friends once again. And China are there somehow to take advantage of this, to say, we will be the broker for peace. We like peace. We're the CCP. We have no plans for expansion. Somehow, while this is happening, China's expansion in Central Africa continues to escalate. China's expansion in the Middle East continues to escalate. Now they've got even Syria and Bashar al-Assad supporting them. So it's all great. While the Western Empire, under the American umbrella, the Western globalists, have been losing control because of messed up and failed policies of so-called liberating Afghanistan and Iraq and everything else, that hasn't worked. So you create a vacuum, and now you've got the Eastern globalists doing their own thing. Thank you, Joe Biden, for sleeping. You've got Hezbollah, the leader of Hezbollah, who decided to praise and support this new friendship between Iran and Saudi. If Jeremy Corbyn's friends are happy and are supporting something, this is not a good thing, guys. It's definitely not a good thing. So what America has to do right now, which they've already announced, is being cautious, because that's what they're good at, right? US and France have cautiously welcomed the renewal of Iran and Saudi diplomatic relations. Cautiously welcome. Ironically, US and France were the same two countries that essentially implemented the coup of 1979 in Iran that got rid of the Shah of Iran and the constitutional monarchy and replaced them with the Islamic occupiers. The Islamic occupation coup of 1979, backed up by CIA, who trained the Ayatollahs and were in touch with them. Jimmy Carter was there. And the Ayatollah Khomeini was in Paris in exile. So the French allowed that connection to happen. And they put him on the plane to the capital of Iran, Tehran, the moment the Shah of Iran left the country, because the Shah didn't really want bloodbath. He didn't want to target his own people. He said, I'm just going to leave. You guys sort it out, and I'll come back. But no, America betrayed him. The French betrayed him. MI6 turned a blind eye. And this happened. And every intervention that the Americans and the West have been doing has been a bit of a problem. It just creates more problems. So it's going to continue. Now, China are becoming democratic. Louis, well done, China. They just did a vote again for President Xi. And he won the vote in the National People's Congress. It was a very close vote, by the way. 2,952 votes for President Xi and 0 votes against President Xi for the third 5-year term. What is that? Why do you even bother voting when that's going to be the result of the election? I mean, with all the flaws that we have in this country, and there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of issues, hypocrisy, mainstream media. Sometimes we have to slap ourselves in the face saying, at least we're not living in Beijing. What is going? And the fear is that we might be sleepwalking into that world. And I've been trying to warn the public and everybody over the last few years saying, do not turn Britain into another Iran or another CCP. And because it is happening, and it's always so slowly when it comes to tyranny that we don't even realize it's happening. It's always little drops, like what happened with Justin Trudeau and the truckers' protests. That's just one tiny bit. He might have stopped. He might have given up. And truckers can drive around in Canada. But that's not the point. Because it could happen any moment, instantly, or sometimes slowly over time. You have to protect freedom. You have to protect the will of the people. And you have to protect self-determination. Otherwise, there's absolutely no point in living in the West. What's the point? If we're going to have tyranny in the East and West, it doesn't matter where we are. Right, let's take a quick break. This is going to be quite dangerous, this update, and combining it with the US banking system close to collapsing, the whole world order is going to be quite problematic to report on. But I'll be cautious about what I do on the channel anyway. We'll be reporting the truth as usual, regardless of consequences for me and the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the support. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media for now.